guess she left. Katias, stop trying. Whoa, that's mean. Wow, Katia, was boiling the well really too hard for you? So instead you do 10,000 things that take all day, including using spells you don't even know. You have one spell, Fireball, and all you had to do was cast it over and over until the water reached the boiling point, with the only hazard being some hot steam. It wouldn't even have to be it would not even have to actually be boiling to kill the fish. The woman wearing the apron, whose name you still don't know, might have been a really big help to you, but who knows where she is now? Why didn't you finish trying something that you actually know something about? That you have done before, like using fire instead of dropping it immediately and doing everything you know nothing about, like archery, fishing, ice spells, etc.? Yeah, you confess that probably could have handled that better. Much better. You just had this idea that if you kept trying, maybe you'd be able to pull off something cool and spontaneous that would elegantly solve everything. Maybe pierce both fish with one arrow or shoot a lightning bolt from your fingertips. Something that would make you feel kind of like a hero, rather than a wannabe wizard using someone else's magicka to slowly boil water. Oh, well, not everyone can be a hero like in the stories, you guess. You make yourself a solemn promise to stick to safe and reliable methods in the future. Congrats, Katia, you saved the well from being poisoned, and by extension, the entire town. You go, girl. Though, on the bright side, you apparently did keep the well from being poisoned. Not to mention those fish will probably die a slow, painful death from all the metal hooks moving around their digestive tracts. So, even if you got nothing from it, your actions possibly saved the people in the future from suffering intermediate amounts of harm. Yeah, you give yourself a celebratory low five. You know, there is such a thing as trying too hard. You don't have to, and likely won't, have a solution to every problem. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to the point of hauling enough masonry to build a small castle halfway across town. Right then, you guess this job was kind of a bust, but it's time to just cut your losses and move on. You've probably still got another hour or so before the guild opens. Maybe you'll just wander around town for a while, or buy a snack, or maybe even just see that vampire so you can at least end the day with enough coin to get Chloe's book if you want. You're still excited about visiting the guild tonight, and you know you'll feel a lot better once you actually get there. But this whole slaughterfish ordeal has left you feeling kind of melancholy and bummed out. Here was your first real chance to show everyone in town that you're not just some skillless nobody. Your first real chance to show them that you can actually do things when you put your mind to them, and when you tried, you just couldn't. Someone more skilled and intelligent than you, they probably could find some way to take care of those fish. They'd probably know some trick that'd make it really easy, but you've already tried everything you could think of. I'm gonna brainstorm solutions real quick. If you made a long enough spear to go all the way down the well, then you could use that to directly stab instead of trying to throw that makeshift one down there to indirectly stab. That would have given you accuracy, and it would have been heavy enough that you probably could have actually stabbed one of the fish instead of just having it bonk on the surface just from like the momentum of it going down. I don't think that rock idea was too terrible, depending on how deep under the water they were. You, oh, that wouldn't have worked. That would have poisoned the well too. Um, if you got some sort of solid poison rather than an ingestible one, that could have gotten rid of the fish, like putting on something they'd want to eat. You still feel excited about visiting the guild tonight, and you know you'll feel better once you've actually got there, but this whole slaughterfish ordeal has left you feeling kind of melancholy and bummed out. Here was your first real chance to show everyone in town that you're not just some skillless nobody. Your first real chance to show them you can actually do things when you put your mind to them, and when you tried, you just couldn't. Someone more skilled and intelligent than... Oh, I already did read all of this. I'm surprised you haven't taken into consideration climbing down the well while using the rope. That just sounds like a bad idea. Almost everything. Katia, shake notion out of your head. Find something less life-threatening to do. Get a sack and some refreshing, non-poisoned water. You cautiously peer down the well. It's a very long way to the bottom, and the water looks deep. You could just walk away. You could just forget about all this entirely, or tell the guard to handle it. You could, and probably should, play it safe and just go wait outside the Mages Guild until nightfall. After all, it's not like anyone would judge you for giving up on a job that was outside your abilities. But if you could just get a little closer to the water, and your hatchet could probably make quick work of anything down there. You could get those scales, that meat, maybe even the arrows you just paid for. You could stroll into the Mages Guild tonight a bit more confident, having successfully helped Kavach in your own small way. You could still do this. You won't deny your motivations probably stretch a bit deeper than that. Maybe it's all those hours of messing around and failing to kill those fish, making you all the more determined to get something out of this. Or maybe it's because someone, no matter how crazy she was, honestly thought you could succeed here, showing a faith in you that only Quillweave has ever shared. Or maybe you just have a persistent habit of overestimating yourself as some sort of coping mechanism to help you deal with your blatant ineptitude. All you know for certain is that when you look down that well and think of all the time you've wasted here, you start to wonder, what if you just have to go a little crazy and everything you do will turn to gold? Ah, Midas touch. First, check strength of rope, particularly where it attaches to the pulley at the top of the well. Test it by pulling and leaning on it with as much of your weight as possible. If it feels at all loose or creaky, try to reinforce it before you trust it with your life. Tie that rope into some kind of harness, or tie it firmly to a sturdy non-slip outable article of clothing, or somehow ensure that you cannot possibly accidentally lose hold of the rope. Do you know stuff about knots? Don't worry, you're gonna play it safe. You don't want to repeat that whole runes incident where you screwed up, almost died, and lost everything of value twice. You're going to make sure there's no way this can backfire disastrously. You know, knots. You know knots. More about them than you care to admit. And this rope seems sturdy enough to hold your weight. Also, you used to climb all the time back when you were younger. The stonework out here in Cyrodiil is smoother than what you're used to, but there's still nothing to worry about. You know what you're doing. Katia, abseil down the well instead of climb. Abseil? Absel? I know what that is, but I can't think of it doesn't sound like the right word. Repel. That's what I'm thinking, repelling. Oh shoot, that is a way better idea. You you're you adjust your plan accordingly. Yep, you totally knew what you were doing. Why is she back? Oh, because she got the dictionary. Also, you let Hurdle know that you're going to dive down a well and kill some fish in melee combat. And tell him to maybe come check on you in a little while to make sure you're not drowning. Sure, whatever, he replies. Have fun. You can do this, Katia, just as long as you take a few precautions to make sure you don't fall into the well water. Tie the very end of the rope securely around your waist. That way you'll have a lifeline attached to you if you should lose your grip at any point. You'll need as much freedom of movement as you can get, so you'll probably want to leave your other robes and pouch topside. They're gonna get stolen. This will also keep them dry and neat for your Mages Guild appointment tonight. You're on a tight time limit here, so you rush back to the well, strip down to your slip dress, and stash your valuables in a nearby crate. You quickly review your plan. Get down there, deliver some quick swipes until they die from blood loss, scoop up the bodies, and get out. prove you can do this. Piece of cake, and perfectly safe as long as you stay above the water. But can you hold your own body weight? The question that I'd be asking. You're Katia Monaghan, and you're gonna prove that you can do something productive even if it kills you in a gruesome, bloody manner. Katia, descend. Can I get stolen? You are now a perfectly normal human female, and oh boy do you smell something delicious. Nah. Retrieve fangs. What fangs? An ordinary human such as yourself doesn't have silly fangs. Silly. The very thought of such things is preposterous, offensive, and utterly unsubstained. Go investigate the site of the delicious scent. You'd love to check out that rich, bloody scent that popped up all of a sudden, but you're busy playing a game called Don't Leave the Tree's Shadow. You love this game so much that you're gonna keep playing until nightfall. The rules say you're not allowed to leave the tree's shadow unless you've recently drunk something red, which is red herring juice, or even blood, and since you don't see any red herring juice around here, you'll guess you've gotta drink some blood. Is that a cat? You spot a kitten full of blood crossing the lawn a short distance away. You quickly grab some grape jelly out of your grocery bag and attempt to lure the creature towards you. It glances briefly at you, then turns and keeps walking, which is weird since cats love jelly. At least you're pretty sure that's cats you're thinking of. Nah, drink a potion? Drink a 100% fire resist potion. Go investigate smell. Potion? Potion? Let me tell you a little bit about potions. Potions are overpriced wastes of space pushed by those alchemists. People these days will chug a potion for every little scrape, bruise, or potential burn. With all these potions, you bet the average person doesn't even know how to tie a bandage anymore. You bet they don't even care. Thanks to the potion industry, people don't even know what it's like to be a real medic. They've never known the joy, the thrill of saving a tent full of unconscious, bleeding soldiers using nothing but a roll of gauze and a bottle of whiskey. The excitement of running out of antidote potions and having to cut a vein and suck the poison out. That alluring exhilaration of whipping the copious blood from grievous wounds while closing it using only a rusty needle and a spool of thread. The very thought makes you salivate with approval, but no. These days it's all potions and magic, potions and magic. They've all forgotten about the finest art. Sure, you have gotten forcibly discharged from several armies for drinking on the job, but you've always been passionate about your field. Someday people will remember your glorious discipline. Someday war will once again ravage the countryside, and there simply won't be enough potions and magicka to go around. Blood will flow like honey, and the alchemists and healers will be way overwhelmed. Man and Mara alike will once again be first to solve things the normal way, retroactively with a blood-soaked apron and a pair of pliers. It'll be great. It'll be like the 3rd century all over again. Not that an ordinary human like you remembers the 3rd century, no. Contemplate selling vampire dust to alchemists for vial of blood. You think you've already made your feelings about alchemists fairly clear, but you will reluctantly admit you've had a certain arrangement with Sagrid. But that's Sagrid, and it's something of a necessity. Ever since Kavach's leader, last beggar, died, there's been no humans willing to let you lick corn paste off their neck. This inability to satisfy your bloodlust has led to a few impromptu games of Don't Leave the Shadow. Is it possible to at least cover your head with a bag? Nah, attempt to climb the tree and stay in the shadows, but have a higher vantage point to see the smell's source. You're curious about the tasty smell, but you don't care that much. You'd rather not dump your groceries all over the ground or go clambering up penny trees. Whatever the smell is, you're sure it can wait. At this point, you've only got like an hour left before nightfall, so you figure you can just chillax, maybe catch up on some reading. Nah, wait. Just gonna finish this page. Alright. coast seems clear. You put away your ordinary copy of the Black Horse Courier and follow your nose. The odor's not as strong as it was before, but it's definitely still there. Let's see where it takes you. Well, something happened here. Bloodied glass. Trail of blood. Seems like something did happen. Nah, search crates around the corpse well. What's this? The well is broken? It appears some scoundrel is trying to tear down Khajiit. This will never do. You should inform Sigrid immediately. She'll make sure the ruffian responsible is made to pay for this blatant vandalism. Detective mode. Look for clues. We need to find out who, what, when, why, and how. Also, at what point should we call the guards? That's sure is a lot of stuff you don't care about. Look, you're just trying to find where that blood smell is coming from. You'll leave the serious investigating to the guards, who get paid to do the boring stuff like that. Nah, jump down the well and find out what happened. You'd have to be particularly rare breed of dummy to actually jump down into a 20-foot deep well. Being a genius, you settle for the much more reasonable option of just looking down into the... Hey! Looks like some dummy actually did jump down there. Noticing you, she begins babbling about a desperate plea for help. Ah. You usually try not to get involved in people's personal problems, but vast quantities of fresh blood inform you that this girl is not only the source of the smell, but most definitely in need of medical attention. Specifically your unique brand of ulterior motive-free medical attention. You ask what kind of help she needs. She specifies that she is looking for the pull me out of the well kind. You ask her if she's got a good grip. She calls back that most of the rope is slippy with blood, but she thinks she can hold on. I've got a good dry spot I'm holding on to now. Just pull me up normal human strength. Or that works too. You ask dummy McWelldiver if she's alright. I'm fine, she replies, just kinda dizzy. I really have to get to the Mages Guild though. Something big happened while I was down there and... Oh, it's you. Please don't drink my blood. You laugh heartily at the notion. Drink your blood. Don't be ridiculous. Humans don't drink blood. The very suggestion renders me sick to my feeble human stomach. Continuing along this line of inquiry may cause me to vomit up my lunch, which presumably consists of corn and water. Sorry, I mean, I guess I figured you. Now look at you, poor baby, let's get that wound cleaned. The first human that acts like a Khajiit around her. Actually, yeah, Katias wouldn't realize that's bad because she's getting her wounds licked. Like any decent professional, you proceed to inquire about the patient's status. That is to say, you ask her what in the world happened. Oh man, I was hoping you'd ask. I gotta tell someone about this. Okay, so first, I was all about getting these fish out of the well, right? Like, I guess sometimes I do this dumb thing where I fail a whole bunch, start monologuing to myself, and then go off on some stupid plan to try to make everything better. And this time I apparently decided I was going to climb down the well, which in retrospect isn't very good of an idea, but I left my amulet and stuff up here so I wouldn't drop it, right? Anyways, the dictionary had this picture of something called abseiling, which I tried to... Whoa, there's an elf down by the street who will gladly listen to your life story for 30 drakes an hour. I just want to know how fish got your eye. Katias, use Eye of Fear, and don't be scared of slaughterfish. You can't have slaughter without laughter. Don't laugh, wait. Okay, I wouldn't have gotten that one. Katias, once you're close enough to the water, use your Eye of Fear. On second thought, use your Eye of Fear on the fish. Oh, this, actually did nothing to do with the fish. I kinda forgot I already did my Eye of Fear thing once today. And when I tried to use it on the fish, yeah, it'll get better. It's not that important. No, what's important is what happened after. The eye. Hanging upside down bleeding for an hour? Failing to get some stupid fish out of a well? None of that matters, because the best thing happened while I was down there. Nah, fail to care. Nah, continue to not care about her life story unless it somehow ends up being incredibly interesting. After a couple of minutes, the dummy McWelldiver breaks the silence. You do want me to elaborate, right? On the best thing? You explain that you're not particularly interested, but she insists this is the neatest thing she's ever done and you won't be disappointed. Okay, so I was stuck down there for a while, right? And at first I was really scared. But then, to make myself feel better, I started using time to experiment. Like think about different things, see if I could produce any magic effects. For the most part, none of it worked, but it kept me busy, so I didn't care. But then on a whim, I tried I decided to retry one of my ideas, and I noticed something subtle that I missed back when I was doing it above ground. Watch this. Well, now that we have you in a nice area where you can't miss or harm anybody, let's begin Operation Horrible Pun Death Strike. You can't tell me it doesn't affect you, my dear Katia. I saw the amulet flash back in Anvil. It's doing something. I mean, I'm not fishing for trouble. You're very dear to us after all. I just noticed you barely hanging in there, so I'd really have to lend you a hand. First off, it's a wet First off, it's a well, so it'll be slippery. Hold on hold on, Tiger Claws. We don't want you to fall in for that would be an utter disaster and not very fawny. Tuck your tail in a little closer and we'd totally be a bit off. Adder girl, I skink. I skink we must be shrewd when dealing with the fish. Things can become harrowing very quick. Anoa, you Anoa, you think I'm just badgering you, but you go to see. I'm not a total loon. I'm trying to help you. Did you see it? You made a fire? That was an accident. I meant right before that. I'm not entirely sure how, but I think I knocked it over. I pushed it over with my mind. That's pretty cool, right? Sure, kid. Everyone will gather around and be completely awestruck at your ability to magically push things over. She rolls her eyes at your sarcasm. I guess I can't expect a plebeian like you to appreciate awesome wizard stuff. But still, a second spell. It's not much, but if I can do it on command, that should be enough for me to actually join the Mages Guild. I mean, assuming I can pass that physical strength requirement this time. But I did get some pretty good arm exercises climbing down to that well, and if that's still not enough, maybe I can sneakily use my new spells to constantly knock up whatever they ask me to lift. I mean, knock up in a sense that I'm literally knocking it upwards, not, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud, she says timidly as she gets to her feet. Her knees are a bit shaky, but you've got her bandaged up, so she should heal and refill quickly. I'm just kind of excited. What I really mean to say is, well, I guess I kind of owe you a lot, for helping me make this the best day ever rather than my last day. So thanks, I guess, and for saving me. And you ask with anticipation. I just remembered I was doing the long S's with her. For licking me clean like a cat, and for wrapping me up in spongy tape for some reason. Be that kitten full of blood from earlier on. You are now Katia Monaghan. That vampire sure was weird, but whatever, you guess this stuff will keep your blood in until you can find a healing potion. Katia, hopefully this should teach you a lesson about questionable heroics that are potentially hazardous to your well-being. Let's never do this again, okay? Like, never. We're supposed to do stuff for Quill, not get ourselves killed, because getting ourselves killed would be a very bad idea. You don't need dumb heroics anymore. Once you get accepted into the guild, you'll have a place to stay, and food to eat, and people who will accept you, and nothing to worry about. You'll finish Quillweave's job, learn a bunch of spells, and never disappoint anyone again. Things are gonna be great. Things are finally gonna be great. You gather up your belongings and confirm everything important is still there. Yep, amulet's still there. Quillweave's package, the money, her amulet, everything looks good. You're ready to head off to the Mages Guild. Katia, use your limited resources wisely. First practice with what remaining power you have, both to get a better hang of it and to make sure it's not some coincidence. Then go to the church to recharge and get cleaned up, and visit the Mages Guild after. Right. Now, time is one of your limited resources. You're kind of hyped about this whole wizard thing and want to get to the guild as soon as possible. The wizards there should have some healing spells if you need them, so there's no sense in wasting time at the church. A little magic practice couldn't hurt though. On the way over to retrieve your axe, you take another swing at the new spell. You haven't reduced it to a science yet, but it seems to have something to do with non-cat burns. Hopefully you won't flounder like a fish out of water when it comes to showing off. It actually did do a flip. So, it was a non-cat pun, but then she was still burning herself, so there was fire. It's not much, but still, it's a big development. With 2 spells, you should have enough to pass the Mages Guild's entry requirements. Things are moving a lot faster than you anticipated. Soon you're going to have a place to stay, and food to eat, and books to read and friends to talk to. You're going to be a wizard. The thought sends chills up your spine. You mean if you get accepted into the guild, right? Sorry to be the voice of doubt, but did you maybe consider that you're building your expectations up too much? Okay, well, you admit you're kinda jumping the crossbow a bit. You guess there's still a zillion ways this could backfire disastrously, probably resulting in not only you getting turned down, but making a total fool of yourself in front of everyone. Maybe you'll set your tail on fire or run out of puns at a crucial moment, or just freeze up as soon as they ask you to show your skills. Oh. But you think you've earned the right to let your hopes up a little? There's a chance that you, Katia Monaghan, could literally be a card-carrying Mages Guild member by the end of the day. Even if it's not guaranteed, it's a very real chance. It feels good to think about that, and your biggest success yet could be right around the corner. And if it doesn't work out, you'll be disappointed, sure, especially after getting your hopes up, but you'll deal with it. You'll buy a room at the inn, score dinner out of somebody's candy bowl, and resume your job hunting as usual tomorrow. And if sad feelings strike and you start to feel like the only answer is to drown your sorrows in a bottle of whiskey, well, you won't. Celebrate your turn of fortune by rocking with a wicked air lute solo. But this is no time to worry about failure. You've got a guild to join. You restore your giddiness with a wicked air lute solo. I don't think she knows how to play an air lute. Gonna be a wizard! Yee! Katia's common sense should be tingling. Everyone says, avoid the Mages Guild here. Implied or outright stated as necromancers, only open at night. Sigrid is apparently super likable and impossibly beautiful, and took over the town/guild in days. Hasn't been seen. She has seen at least one vampire walking around town with no care about being caught. Vampires have dominate minds as a core ability. Come on, we've been over this. The Mages Guild is reputable, empire-wide professional organization dedicated to the study and application of magic. You're sure the Khajiit chapter is no exception. In fact, especially from what you've heard around town, it sounds like they might be one of the best. There's nothing to be worried about. You're sure there's nothing shady or weird going on in the Khajiit Mages Guild? Positive. What up? I'm gonna leave it there. My throat's getting sore. Well, I suppose next time we'll be seeing what happens with the whole Mages Guild, how that goes with Sigrid, was it? And excited. Yeah? I'm pretty sure Khajiit is the place that's burning down at the start of Oblivion. Is it? Or am I thinking of a different one? Either way. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anyways, see ya!